imagined two superpowers locked in a war that lasted 27 years. Cities were burned, thousands died, and the greatest civilization of the ancient world was forever changed. This wasn't World War I or II. This was the Peloponnesian War Athens versus Sparta, the conflict that the great historian Thucydides called the greatest movement in history. And believe it or not, it still has powerful lessons for us today. Welcome to the full story of the Peloponnesian War, the epic war that ended the golden age of Athens and reshaped ancient Greece forever. After the Persian Wars in the 5th century BC, Athens and Sparta emerged as the two most powerful city-states, or poleis, in all of Greece. They were polar opposites. Athens was a thriving democracy, a cultural powerhouse that was home to philosophers like Socrates, playwrights like Sophocles, and the magnificent Parthenon, which still stands today. It built a massive maritime empire through the Delian League, effectively controlling the entire Aegean Sea and collecting tribute from hundreds of allied cities. This wealth funded its art, its democracy, and its powerful navy. Sparta, on the other hand, was a rigid military society, an oligarchy ruled by two kings. Spartan men trained from childhood to become the most feared warriors in the known world. Their lives were dedicated to the state and to military excellence. They led the Peloponnesian League, a powerful network of land-based allies, mostly on the Peloponnesian Peninsula. Sparta looked at Athens' growing power, its expanding empire, and its immense wealth with deep suspicion and fear. For decades, the tension simmered. It was a Cold War, with small conflicts and proxy wars constantly testing the fragile peace. Athens would help rebels against Sparta's allies, or Sparta would interfere in Athenian affairs. It was a powder keg, and by 431 BC, both sides were ready for it to explode. The war officially started in 431 BC, when Sparta, led by its king Archidamus, invaded Attica, the fertile farmland surrounding the city of Athens. This phase of the war is known as the Archidamian War. Sparta's strategy was simple: destroy the Athenian food supply and force them into a decisive land battle, which the Spartan hoplites were sure to win. But the Athenian leader, Pericles, had a brilliant and unconventional strategy. He convinced the Athenians to abandon their farms and retreat inside the city's famous long walls, which connected Athens to its port pier. His plan was to avoid fighting Sparta on land at all costs. Instead, they would rely on their powerful navy to control the sea, import food and supplies, and raid Sparta's allies along the coast by ship. At first, the strategy worked. The loss of their visionary leader and so many of their citizens was a catastrophic blow. Athens was severely weakened, both physically and morally. The war dragged on for another decade, a brutal slog of raids, sieges, and battles. Both sides won victories, but neither could deliver a knockout blow. Sparta captured key Athenian positions, while Athens captured hundreds of elite Spartan soldiers, a major humiliation for the warrior state. Finally, in 421 BC, both exhausted sides agreed to the Peace of Nit, a shaky truce that was supposed to last 50 years. It barely lasted 6. By 415 BC, the war party in Athens, led by the charismatic and ambitious Alcibiades, was eager for glory and expansion. They got greedy. Against the advice of more cautious leaders, Athens launched the Sicilian expedition, a massive naval invasion of Syracuse, a powerful and wealthy city in Sicily. It was supposed to be an easy victory. who provided the gold to build the ships, hoping to see the Greek powers destroy each other. This new phase of the war is called the Thessalian or Ionian War. In 405 BC, the Spartan admiral Lysander achieved the final, crushing victory at the Battle of Agus. He caught the Athenian fleet completely by surprise and destroyed it. Athens' naval power, the source of its empire and its survival, was gone. With its navy destroyed, Sparta was able to surround Athens by land and sea, cutting off all food supplies. In 404 BC, after a brutal siege that left its people starving, Athens surrendered unconditionally. The long walls were torn down, the democracy was temporarily dismantled, and the Delian League was dissolved. The golden age of Athens was over. The Peloponnesian War lasted 27 years and left all of Greece exhausted and broken. Sparta became the dominant power, but not for long. Their harsh rule made them unpopular, and their victory was short-lived. Soon, other city-states like Thebes rose up to challenge them, leading to more decades of conflict. The war shattered the trust and cooperation between the Greek city-states, leaving them divided and vulnerable. This instability paved the way for an outside power, Philip II of Macedon, and his famous son, Alexander the Great, to conquer all of Greece just a few decades later. The Peloponnesian War wasn't just an ancient conflict of spears and ships. It's a timeless warning about the dangers of unchecked ambition, the fragility of democracy, and the catastrophic costs when great powers clash. It shows us that empires can crumble and that even the most brilliant civilizations can fall. What do you think? Could a war like this happen again today? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more untold stories from the past. Thanks for watching.